Okay. Welcome to Decaf, the Beacon Center's weekly podcast. Taylor and Mark back again.
It's like 4 straight weeks or 5 straight weeks.
I know, this is like the first time that neither of us have been out of town in a long time.
It's going to end in next week will be good, but after that you're going to have to get Justin because I'll be in Florida.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that much better for everyone.
Justin's really nice to me, so I'll take that, absolutely. So today we're going to do a lot of talking about the Super Bowl, 2 segments on the Super Bowl, and then some Nashville stuff, then some national politics
State of the
stuff,
Union.
State of the Union,
right.
wah. So let's get started.
Okay.
So first thing Super Bowl wise that I want to talk about is the actual game itself. I didn't care.
Perfect. That's great analysis.
Yeah. I didn't care, and then it got spicy. And the 49ers went ahead, and then the Chiefs caught up. And, I didn't.
You should be the ESPN writer. The 49ers went ahead, then the Chiefs caught up. It was a great game.
Period. End of story. I mean, I didn't care that much until it got interesting. And then when it got interesting, my blood pressure went up. Like, I'm just a competitor, and I enjoyed watching them be so close and compete, actually.
I was with you, too. This is the first Super Bowl that I wasn't really cheering for anybody.
Yeah.
I like both teams enough,
Yeah,
and then I kind of just wanted a good game. And, I mean, we certainly got one with basically the 49ers dominated for 3 quarters. And as soon as they needed to, the Chiefs offense was able to just go crazy.
I mean, the 49ers quarterback is very handsome.
Okay, so he is. No, I agree. But we were talking about this. Like,
really
is he the most handsome player in the NFL? I mean, I think he's more handsome than Tom Brady, honestly.
Oh, he's definitely more handsome than Tom Brady.
Let's not say definitely.
Okay, Tom Brady has weird teeth. I don't like Tom Brady's smile.
Apparently we're nitpicking
I don't like
Tom
his
Brady's
smile.
look.
I think that the 49ers quarterback is the best.
Jimmy Garoppolo is a very much less good.
Don't even know his name.
And they were on the same team.
What?
Garoppolo used to be Brady's backup, and then they traded him, so they used to have the 2 best-looking quarterbacks in the league on the same team.
Well, 49ers got a good one with him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not a good quarterback, but maybe a good-looking guy.
He's a good enough quarterback.
Yeah, he kind of came up small when they needed him to.
Yeah.
It's
not good in the clutch.
Just to talk about it, so basically, like, it was 3 quarters of the 49ers pretty much dominating 2010.
Well, I mean, it was tied at halftime.
It was, but they outplayed them. They went ahead 20-10.
Yeah.
They really kind of seemed to have Mahomes confused, which, I mean, he's the best player in the NFL.
I know. When we were watching it, when it was 20-10, I almost gave up and just said, all right, I'm going to go watch a movie. Like, I just thought it was over.
That's because you don't really, like, if you would have known how explosive Kansas City's offense was, I know you don't watch a lot of NFL, but it's like, it's never over with them because they can score points so quickly.
Well, and they did.
I did think the 49ers were going to win, though. I mean, at that point, I'm like, the Niners will win, but, I mean, you can never count out the Chiefs.
Well, you definitely can't now. And it was so cute watching them do the snow angels and confetti. I thought that was really precious. I don't get into, I mean, I cry when Alabama wins national championships because I'm so happy.
Might be a while till you're crying again.
But with a team that I don't really care about, I didn't think I would be so emotional. But watching them win, their little coach with his little mustache,
So he's been around, so all the Eagles fans, there are a lot of Philadelphians, he coached there forever. He's been to, like, I think 2 or 3 Super Bowls, but he's never won. And he's such a nice guy, and, like, he's just an unbelievable, everyone likes him. So, and he always chokes in the playoffs. He does these stupid things that cost them. So because everyone likes him. He's such a good guy, and his son died of an overdose. He's a Mormon. Like, it was just a really big.
Any of this? I'm gonna start crying right now.
It was a really big moment for him, and everybody likes the guy. Everyone in the NFL, and that's the quarterback of the Chiefs was like so excited for him, not even for.
It's so sweet. I love it. We're ending on like a really happy note on that one.
It was. I was glad. I didn't know who I wanted to win, but I was glad when they ended up winning.
It's so sweet. So let's talk about the controversial part of the game, which was the halftime show.
And commercials, right?
And the commercials,
okay.
Yeah. I love J-Lo, like so much. It's like probably unhealthy. Like I love her. I thought the halftime show was a little weird. I mean, Shakira played the drums, which I didn't understand.
And her tongue thing became
the tongue thing became a meme.
Can you do it for everyone watching?
Absolutely not.
I did.
You do it. Gross.
Like right?
I hate it. So Shakira became a meme. She played the drums. She covered a Nicki Minaj song, which I thought was kind of weird.
It was a weird set, yeah. And a lot of people that are like famous in the Latino, I think Bad Bunny was one of the guys. Like,
I don't know who that is.
Well, yeah, they're famous in like the Latino, and they both were part of their songs. So those guys you didn't know, they were famous.
Yeah,
and
okay. I didn't know them. But I did like how J-Lo started with Jenny from the Block.
Yeah. You could actually bet on that, whatever the first song they play is. I remember I won money last year because I picked Maroon 5 to play Harder to Breathe.
Gosh, good grief. You bet on everything. But I really was not that. The dancing was amazing. The production was amazing. everything. I mean, I love them, but Bruno Mars, man, you can't beat Bruno Mars. It was the best halftime show ever.
It was I watched my Facebook thing. It seemed to be a big differential between Latinos who really loved it. Like, I mean, it's the first time they were really represented at the Super Bowl, so they loved that. And most of them liked it. Like, hey, we've heard your crappy rock music and pop music for years. Like, give us this. So I don't know, I was pretty in the middle. I didn't really care. And I have a question. Like, the inappropriateness, I don't really get that.
I don't get it either. Because, I mean, it's like going to a concert.
Adam Levine had his shirt off last year.
Yes.
It's like, is the Super Bowl halftime show supposed to be appropriate?
Well,
like, change the channel. I mean, I remember when Janet Jackson's nipple was out.
I know. I saw a meme that was like, y'all are talking about how this is inappropriate. Yeah. We all survived the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson scandal,
I don't get it.
And I ended up just fine.
Just change the channel.
I'm not saying that I recommend that. Yeah,
Puppy Bowl is on. Wait, we have a minute left, so we need to talk about commercials. What was your worst one?
Oh, gosh.
I know mine offhand.
Okay, what's your worst one?
So mine was like, people weren't talking about being the worst, but the Procter & Gamble one I thought was terrible, where they had all this stuff come together.
Cute.
No, because it was a terrible commercial. Nobody knew it was Procter & Gamble, because it's all these different brands, and at the very end they had their logo small, but nobody knew what that was for. It looked like it was just a combination of commercial that made no sense. And
I thought it was cute.
It wasn't cute. It was stupid. They didn't get their point across.
Not nice.
I didn't know what it was even for.
Okay.
And what are you trying to do?
I thought it was really cute. What if I had just said that was my favorite one?
I mean, it's fine.
It makes sense. So classic.
People did not like it, but it wasn't in the bottom ones like it was for me. What was your worst one?
I don't know if I have a worst one.
What was your favorite then?
My favorite one is anything that stars Chris Evans and John Krasinski. So I really liked that commercial. I thought it was cute.
My roommate Soto hated it. He thought it was awful. But he also didn't know they were all from Boston, which makes it a better. Well, he didn't know that. So I don't know if that changes thing, but I thought it was pretty good. Honestly, I want to buy that car because I can't park. So
you can't park worth the crap.
I forget what it was, but I want to buy the car.
A Hyundai something or other.
So obviously didn't do a great job reminding us.
I don't know, but John Krasinski's very cute. I've talked about a lot of cute guys.
Chris Evans also has a
Chris
great
Evans
beard.
is very cute.
But his beard is excellent.
Yes, beard is excellent.
Both their beards are great.
And they're both really
And Rachel
cute.
Dratch is funny, so it's a good combo.
She's hilarious. Okay, so next thing we want to talk about, we want to give major props to Mayor Cooper for the MLS Stadium negotiations that's going on. He's catching a lot of heat for slowing down the MLS Stadium to make sure it's the best deal for taxpayers.
As it turned out that it was a lot more than expected, he basically kind of told the Ingram Group and the people voting, say, hey, we're not going to pay even more money for this. Now, I want to say something.
No, I want you to rant on
let's talk about this. Beacon was the ones who said, we shouldn't do this. It's going to cost way more than they say, just like the Sound Stadium and every other stadium.
Yes.
And then it's unaffordable.
Preach.
And to his credit, Councilman Cooper that time voted against the deal.
Yes.
And Mayor Bradley voted for it and then lost by like 1 million points when he ran for re-election.
Embarrassing.
So, it's a terrible deal, and we knew it was going to run over. It always does. And Cooper's just saying, no, we're not paying for this run over. That's on you.
Yeah, seriously. Well, it just doesn't make any sense. And I try to explain this to people, and Mark and I got in some Twitter debates with some people who were saying...
We murdered some people on Twitter debates.
We really did.
We beat them bad.
Mark mic dropped on a few of them from Beacon's Twitter, and I was responding on my Twitter. But everyone was saying, well, we're already committed to this. We're locked into this. And it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why a current mayor has to fulfill some kind of responsibility or obligation that a past mayor made that's going to put Nashville in even more of a dire financial state. We're almost in receivership here.
Yeah, one of the reasons that Mayor Bradley was voted out was because of this deal.
Yeah, well, also because he was a terrible budget manager.
I mean, just terrible at most things.
Yeah, but specifically talking about this, he was a terrible budget manager. This deal did not make any sense at all. Why is it that Nashville taxpayers, when we're already in so much debt, are paying for a soccer stadium, which is not even like an essential service? It's not going to bring that many jobs. It's not going to do all that much. It just doesn't make any sense.
And what's interesting is that the people who were going to do the same said, oh, no, we'll pay for these things. Well, that means you could have afforded to pay for it the whole time. So, I mean, obviously you're a millionaire and billionaires. You can afford to pay for this. So, we needed your money. Oh, wait, actually, no, if you're going to cancel, we can figure it out. I'm
frustrated.
But it's terrible. And the one good thing about Mayor Cooper, when the people say, oh, this is the deal, well, they're overrun costs. This was not the deal that they even agreed to. And how much more are we going to pay? It's like, oh, well, we promised that. Well, what, another $500 million? If that's what it costs, do we have to keep putting that in because we agreed to a deal?
This is not what
BS.
We signed up for.
It's BS. And what we signed up for is terrible. And this is worse than what we signed up for.
Yeah, seriously.
And again, we called for the voters to decide. We called for a referendum. Of course, the council said, oh, no, we're going to pass it because we know it's going to fail.
Oh, and these people blowing me up on Twitter were saying, well, we vote for our councilmen to represent us, and they voted voted it through. And I'm like, you can't say that some indirect thing, like we vote for a councilman.
We also voted for a councilman who said they wanted transit, and then the city of Nashville beat it like 67 to 33.
You can go ahead and mic drop on that. I mean,
yes,
we have
that's
like
good.
4 seconds.
The city council has no idea what the people want. That's it.
Period. Mic drop. Ding. Wow. Amazing timing. I love that. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is the State of the Union address.
Which was, we're filming this Wednesday, so last night.
Yeah, yes. It was last night.
I think we have different opinions on it, too.
Okay, what's your opinion?
Well, no, I mean, you want to go first? Why don't you say what you thought about it?
Well, I wore my Space Force t-shirt because
stupidest thing ever. Not you, the Space Force idea.
I wore my Space Force t-shirt. My friend who actually works in the White House was texting me every time he said something that I like. So she was like, school choice, million exclamation
he did a great
points.
Job on
like,
school choice.
Like all those kinds of things. I loved the level of pettiness of ripping up State of the Union.
And wait, here's a question.
And I say love like very facetious. Like I'm not being serious.
Do you think Trump intentionally tried not to shake her hand? I don't think he did. I don't think he saw it, but he may. Do you think he intentionally said no to shake her hand? I don't know, but I watched the replay a few times.
I don't know. I mean, I think that the level of pettiness just in general with like AOC tweeting out before that she was not going because she can't justify this. And which
the squad kind of split up because Ilhan Omar said, I'm going to go and resist it.
One of them walked out. Who walked out? Was it Rashida Tlaib that walked out?
It might have been.
I mean, people were walking out.
Wait, never mind. I can't talk about that.
We're like having to really tiptoe around and be careful about political issues. I will say, though, I grew up loving Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh was like the voice of my childhood. We listened to him in the car all the time. I had an absolute breakdown last night. I called my mom and I was like not breathing, sobbing about Rush and just how sweet it was that he got the medal during the speech.
Let me tell you a couple of things that I liked and didn't like.
Okay.
I thought he did a great job in school choice. I thought the military family scene was great, bringing it back together.
Yes.
I think a lot of the speech was really good. A couple of things I didn't like.
Okay.
I thought he could have risen above the impeachment stuff and said, you know what, like, even if these people aren't going to respect me, I need to be their president. Like, it just felt like it was a red meat speech. And I thought he could have done more outreach to the Democrats and said, you know what, we worked on criminal justice. Look at these things we did together. And even if we don't agree and even if you don't like me, we can get stuff done.
It's true.
And I thought that was a big missed opportunity to try to unite the country a little bit more than it is. The Rush Limbaugh thing was interesting because I didn't have such an issue with him being there. And I'm sure most of our listeners like Rush Limbaugh, and I have no issue with him, but like some of the things he said in the past are questionable. I agree. And I don't think I would have given him, I don't think he deserves a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I don't think he deserves the medal either, but
I think him coming, it's like, but he has said things in the past, I'm like, ugh. Is that really, when you're trying to win over the country, is that the kind of person who, say what you want about him, like, and I don't dislike, I like a lot of things he says.
I'm a Rush baby. I identify as a Rush baby.
I like a lot of things he says, but like, this guy has some really questionable comments, and you're giving him a Medal of Freedom.
I know. I thought that was a little interesting.
And I hope he's better. And like, and the thing is, the Dems are in a tough position. You're like, well, this guy has cancer. We can't do him. But at the same time, like, he says a lot of things, and even Republicans disagree with. I mean, he's great overall, but he said a lot of.
To be fair, he broke down a lot of walls for conservative commentators in the media when he first started. Suzanne was telling me just the other day that when he first started his show,
what? We should keep going on this.
Okay. When Suzanne, she told me that when he started doing his show, people on the radio didn't talk about things that he talked about. They didn't talk about cutting taxes. You would just get totally shunned by cutting taxes. And he was really bold in his approach to these issues and was unafraid to talk about these things that we do. And so, you say, well, he said inappropriate things. I don't know if he deserves a medal, but at the same time, maybe he does. He was kind of a pioneer in conservative talk radio.
But I think honoring the guy
talk radio is huge.
Honoring the guy is different than giving him a medal, a presidential medal. So I know that some of the things are very racially charged that he said, and I don't love them.
I don't either.
But I think that I think when we have big issues like this, we can talk a little bit more. But I do think it's important to know that I looked at the polling right before. 97% of Republicans approved the speech, 82% of independents, and 30% of Democrats. So when we talk about people, I think even independents and Republicans liked it more than I did. And I still liked it.
Yeah.
And I guess I approved overall, but there's some parts I didn't like. But everyone did like the speech. So as much as we're talking, most people liked it. I think and 30% of Democrats is a huge number.
I know. I saw
when
some
all he did was trash their party. the
I
whole
know.
night.
I saw some people on Twitter who were just saying, like, whether you like him or don't like him, it was a great speech.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, Van Jones is about the smartest person I've seen. If you listen to his analysis of it, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says.
The only smart person?
Maybe. But he gave some great analysis. So that's it. But it's a great speech. You should watch it. There's parts I didn't like. There's a lot of parts I did. So
but there are some parts that are touching that will, if you're anything
touching.
like an emotional basket case like I tend to be, you will cry.
Crying during the Chiefs game.
Crying during the game. Crying all the time. Yeah. It's just what I do. Thanks for listening. Let us know your thoughts on State of the Union, and we will see you next week.